Hello and welcome to the Ultimate Bull Run, where we bring 100 bulls, 100 stories in this one legendary run. Our goal is to glorify the process and journey of trading and investing rather than just numbers. And today, with us, we have the Ultimate Bull, who is renowned as an international investor, an entrepreneur with a prolific career in energy and a fintech. He played a pivotal role in transforming natural gas clearinghouse into a Fortune 30 company dynasty and founded Chargebacks, which is revolutionizing credit card dispute technology. He's also super passionate about crypto. He even sold his $2.5 million mansion for Bitcoin. And he leads investment in blockchain through Cardone. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming the Ultimate Bull, Gary Cardone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Ultimate Bull Run, Gary.
Thank you, man. Good to be here.
Thank you. Gary, so lots of people aspire to achieve big things, but often feel stuck in like a routine of 9 to 5 job. Reflecting on your early days of your career, when you were like the 12th employee of natural gas clearinghouse, what drove you to push beyond the norm and eventually kind of start your own venture?
That's a tough question. First off, thank you for having me. I think the first thing I had to do in my career was understand what I wasn't going to do and who I didn't want to be. I think that's probably a great place to start for anyone is what am I not going to do? Like I knew there were certain things I just didn't want to do. And the first job I got, I think right out of college was, if I'm not mistaken, I was very confused as to what I was going to do. I had a marketing and an economics background. I took one of these weird tests. You need to be a salesman. Well, awesome. What area? Like I could have told you I might need to be a chatterbox, but what area? These tests are really bizarre, right? They're not really very effective. I think it was a pharmaceutical job. I scored the highest of anyone they had ever tried to train. They were like gagging to hire me. They gave me a job and gave me a car. And I got to tell you, dude, 3 days later, I'm like, I did not spend 4 years in college studying economics to talk to doctors, wait in doctor lounges to beg them to buy this drug and then give it to patients. I literally quit within a week. I was like, no chance. I did not. So like I knew I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be a traveling salesman selling drugs, making 40 grand a year. That I just, and I didn't want to be an accountant. I wasn't an administrator. Don't really like details. Don't like to be told what to do. There's a lot of things I didn't like, right? I then started moving my career in the corporate world. And then I realized there's some corporates here that really, I'm not built well for these corporates. And so I started like literally the things I don't want to do. I kept shaving down. And then natural gas clearinghouse popped up as an idea. And I was like, I love that name. I love what they're doing. Their name alone tells me exactly what they're doing. They're going to disrupt the natural gas industry. I love that idea. Let's go do that. Natural gas clearinghouse. You know exactly what they want to clear natural gas.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I went to work there at 27 years old. I would have literally taken the job for zero. I was making 70 a year, which if I came from a similar family you came from, dude, 70 grand a year at 27 was monster. My mom would have said, bro, just mind your P's and Q's and go to work every day and don't get fired. Work for that pension. I hated it there, dude. I had 3 levels of managers over me. They were probably spread by 2 years. So I was 26. They were 28, 32, 34. I'm like, my God, they don't know any more than I do. The thing that really drove me crazy, though, I realized that corporate America was no different than being in high school. And that terrified me. I mean, really terrified me because I hated high school.
Can you expand on what that means?
Yeah, I literally think that corporate America is made up of a bunch of high school people. Middle, the guy that runs the Key Club, he'll be the vice president of HR and drive me crazy. And I just realized, hey, these companies, this isn't going to be the kind of world I want. I want to go in and do something. I don't want to constantly study opportunities. They were passing on unbelievable opportunities. This is when I learned something, that no one ever gets fired for the job they didn't do or the deal they didn't do that they should have done. Have you ever known anyone that got fired for the deal they didn't do? I could have bought Amazon at $9. Well, bro, if you would have thought it, if you could have bought Amazon at $9 and you thought about that and you didn't do it, how many times are you going to make that mistake over and over?
Yeah.
Like, see, I look at that and go, hey, that is a monster mistake. To be able to buy Amazon at $9 and you didn't move on it, you lack your own conviction. That, like, you're betraying your own intelligence, right? Like, to betray yourself, me betraying you, that's one thing. I think that's a heinous crime. For me to betray myself, that is a mortal sin, man. Like, when I know something, I put a trade on in 1996 or 7. I was in a room with a bunch of politicians and a bunch of nuclear power players and coal-fired power stations in London. And these people are like, I realize, oh, wow, these people are actually going to listen to me, and they're going to implement some of the things I'm trying to push into this reformation that you called. This is exactly what's happening. We need to reform the entire system. Reformation, by the way, ends up being a total reconstruction. It's not really reformation. It's just our way of saying, hey, it's just going to be some cosmetics, but we're going to absolutely change the entire process. I walk out of that room and I made a phone call and I sold 450 megawatts of power for 5 years in Germany to one player on a phone call. And my brother called me right after the phone call. And he said, hey, what you doing, dude? I said, dude, I just put on the biggest trade of my entire life. He said, well, what was it? Grant has never understood the business I'm in. So I generally explained to him. He said, well, what does that mean? I said, it's either going to make my career or it's going to kill my career. It's binary, dude. It's one or the other. And his response to me was, why would you do that? Why would you take a risk like that? And this shows you the difference between he and I. One of the differences. And I'm not putting a grade on it. It's just how we're different. When I have a view and I'm convicted on a thesis and I don't execute financially behind that thesis, or if I see a pretty girl and I want to get married to her and I don't go ask her to marry or at least pursue her, right? I know she's the one. I don't have the courage to go talk to her. Well, just knowing she's the one, but not having the courage does nothing. All it does is going to frustrate you and go, wow, I'm a genius. I'm a potential genius. But see, potential genius is just potential. In order to be kinetic, I got to pull the trigger. So anyway, Grant asked me, why would you risk your career? And my answer was, dude, when you see a deal like this, I can't walk away from this trade. Like, to walk away from this trade when I have every bit of intel I possibly could need. Now, could something go wrong? Yes. But for me, it's like when you see something like that and you don't act on it, that's a theorist. That's not an entrepreneur. Okay. Like, that's not a guy that's convicted. Like, people that diversify their investment portfolio, I believe that they have lost conviction. Okay. The only reason you diversify is because you have lost conviction in what you're doing. Otherwise, you're all in on the trade until you're not. So my career has been really weird, man. I don't know that it's been by design. I think, a lot of people think, hey, you got to plan your whole thing out. In these kind of markets, when you have tidal waves and tsunamis, figuratively speaking, and change that's occurring at such a rapid rate, I think being stuck in plans, like it actually could hurt you. So now there's another side to that, which is constantly changing. You can't do that either, right? You got to stay in some type of lane. But I just got very, very comfortably in highly disruptive environments.
That is really good. That like a lot of people getting stuck, kind of thinking about or wanting to change themselves, and get out of that 9 to 5 job, right? And like you said, taking a risk and having that conviction that, and most importantly, not filtering out what you don't want to do is really important on finding out what you are going to end up doing it. And that is really, I think that is going to help a lot of people to get out of the box. I've talked to many of my colleagues and friends and families, and they are kind of, they have an idea of what they want to do, but they cannot execute it, and they just kind of stay there for the rest of their life. And you got to just take an action and just go for it. That is true. Moving on to the challenges, right? Our community believes challenges we face shape who we are, and certainly you have encountered numerous challenges throughout your entire life. Um, how did you approach these kind of challenges or obstacles in your 20s, in your 30s, and how do you approach them today?
I think that first off, people don't really plan for these challenges, right? These challenges happen. And so we try to plan everything, but the truth is life just happens. I make mistakes. I think the look, I've had massive challenges. I've made a monster amount of mistakes, and you're going to make mistakes. I've really pushed the envelope on almost everything I've ever done. I have a saying, and it's a little trick question. The question is, how do you know where the edge is? Now, you got to remember, most of the markets that I play in, they're being developed, right? I'm either developing them or reforming them or restructuring them, but there are no real rules. Like the chargeback business, there was zero rules except for MasterCard and Visa. And I just knew the rules were so complicated that nobody understood the rules. The challenge is, like, I go back to the first area. Hey, look, define what you don't want to do. If you don't want to be a dentist, I don't care how bad your dad wants you to be a dentist. Don't be a dentist. Be willing to have the argument with your dad. I don't want to fucking be a dentist, dude. I want to be, like, I would never do that to my children. Okay, my children need to go do their own deal. They need to find their own business to build, their own money. I probably won't even leave them any money because it'll ruin them. I might leave them a game to play, but I'm not going to leave them something and go, hey, you need to go run this $1 billion. They don't want to do that, dude. They want to go do their own thing. Okay. I'm so glad my parents didn't leave me a bunch of money. I know who I am. It's hard enough to know who you are. Right. And I'm just going to get back to the challenges that are always right here, dude. This is it. I have to fix this. This is my problem. I have been rude to people. I have been obnoxious, arrogant, a bully from time to time. If I'm in a big trading position, I will bully you around. I've been a bad boss. I've been a difficult person to work with as a team member. Okay. And those were all my challenges, and they created friction in my life. There were times when, like, I'm a really good trader, and like if you and I are trading against each other, it's just a game for me. I will wipe your face off the map, dude. I will destroy you if you let me. And then tomorrow morning, hey man, want to go to lunch? Like, I have nothing on it. You bang me up, I would be like, hey, want to go to lunch tomorrow, man? You really did a good one on me. I'm a professional. Like, I think about it as a boxing ring. I go in the boxing room with Goldman Sachs. We last 3 rounds and we're done. Give them a hug, move on, right? I'm not their mortal enemy. They're my trading partner. Yep. But sometimes I would leave people with a taste in their mouth. Like, this was when I was young. I was just a little angry. But I think everybody has challenges, you know. I would rather, back to the edge question, in order to know where the edge is, there is no one on this planet that knows where the edge is until you literally go over it.
Yeah.
Okay. So in order to actually, if you think about that, in order to know the edge, you have to have gone over the edge and suffered until you're falling, dude. You still had a centimeter. You could have gone out 1 more centimeter, but see, most people stop. They're like, hey, look, there's the edge. Yeah. Well, looking at the edge and knowing exactly where the edge is, very different. Now, this has been good for me, okay?
Yeah.
But this has been good for me as an entrepreneur, but as a team member, not so good. Because most people don't want to constantly be pushed over the edge, right? They're like, dude, like it's every day. So in a corporate setting, I had a lot of challenges to learn how to work as a team member because I was smart, man. I was smart. I kind of had a good sense of things, and I would argue with you if I thought you were wrong, which is actually a huge benefit to a company to have a guy like me go, nah, that's wrong, dude. That's just wrong. I'll bet you right now that's wrong. Now, I like having a guy like that, especially if a guy like that can articulate it and not create a bunch of corruption and poison inside that team, right? So, bro, I've had every challenge. I mean, we could spend 3 hours here on challenges. You know, I lost $120 million once in a year, 9 months. Cool. Anybody can lose money. Can you turn it around the following year? Can you get out of your own? Like, my God, I just dropped a tremendous amount of money. Can I get out of bed this morning and pivot and survive this? Anybody can lose money, but can you lose money and replicate and get up and play? And people are like, whoa, we didn't knock that guy out. To me, these are the challenge. These are the things that I'm most proud of. I remember once my brother said, hey, why do you tell people about the $120 million loss? I'm like, first off, I never tell anybody about the $250 million profit. Why? I didn't learn anything from that, did I? Right. What I learned was, hey, how do you navigate a $120 million loss over 9 months and don't shoot yourself in the face, okay? And don't like destroy everything around you. Like this is a public company. How do you fix it, right? Like, okay, shit, I made a mistake. How do I fix it? Next year, I recovered everything and some. For me, that was a great win to be challenged that way, to have a boss support me. In fact, he wanted to double the position. He was like, I think you're right. Let's double the position. I went, nah, dude, we're wrong. I'm wrong on this trade. That really has taught me something. See, I had to have that experience to realize the value of admitting that I'm wrong and cutting my losses. And it doesn't matter. Everything's a trade. But to be able to acknowledge, hey, I'm wrong, dude. I walked away from sensing what's happening in the market. I know exactly the mistake I made, actually. I got into this thing at 32 years old or 34 years old. And I said, okay, I don't delegate enough. I'm going to delegate this to some kids. And that's when we lost 120 mil. Because Gary was trying to be a manager. Okay. Gary is a great boss, but I don't need to manage anybody. I need to manage what's happening in the market. That's what I'm really good at. I don't want to babysit kids.
Like you said, admitting that you are wrong and moving on from that point is very important. And even me, I've made mistakes where I thought I was right in certain way, and then I kind of stayed on that trade and on that conviction. Like something in me was saying, okay, you're wrong, you got to move on. But I don't know if it was an ego or something that was holding me back. And like you said, those challenges, those obstacles that you encountered, those failures that you said, is going to shape us who we are. And that is just a part of the journey. If we just give up right there, that is where the journey ends. There is the brighter future in the coming future. That is true. On staying on this topic, the winning mindset is a very important, which is a very, very underrated skill. Based on the conversation we have had so far, some people see the winning mindset as aggressiveness or whatever it is, right? However they define it. But we need a winning mindset if we want to win in the game. How do you cultivate that kind of mindset, and what advice would you give others to who are looking to develop it?
Well, I think it's a good question. I think if you're back office, it's kind of hard to be a part of the winning thing, right? Like really, it's a whole group of people, right? In a business. So I don't think everybody that's listening to this podcast is going to be a CEO. I think most people shouldn't be a CEO. Just because you have an idea about something does not make you a general of anything. I know a lot of people that your native game, I guess, is cricket, is that, or soccer, right? So football. To be a great cricket owner or a great cricket coach does not mean that you were a great cricket player. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. The guy that makes the one of the great 50 caliber weapons here in the United States, the Barrett, he's an engineer. He knows everything about high caliber pressures and fine steel and heat and temperature and wind, but he doesn't shoot the gun. He hands it to a guy that knows how to shoot the gun and doesn't know anything about pressure. So what is winning? Like, winning is me doing what I'm great at, man. Like, and if that means, hey, you're a housewife to a guy like me and you're taking care of the kids and the house and the vacations and the school and the private teacher, and dude, you're winning. Like, if you're on my team and you're a great wife and you're not betraying me and you're hanging and we've got a common goal, I think winning is just continue to support that team. Right.
Right.
And that includes the children too. The children have to get included. Hey, we're on a team, dude. My kids have flown to every country I've been to, been on business meetings, and it was like, hey, you can either go to school or you can hang out with me and your mom. We're traveling. Dude, we got shit to do. It's going to give it like 14-year-old girls in Iceland right now, dude, all by herself with 20 other kids that she'd never met in her life. My sister's like, I cannot believe. Yeah, dude. Like, I wish I would have been mature enough. And I just looked at my kid when I said goodbye to her in the airport in New York. I said, hey, don't do anything stupid, dude. Remember your last name and don't fuck it up. And my 16-year-old's in Costa Rica with 15 people doing veterinarian school right now. So to me, that's winning, right? You're giving people enough experiences in life where they can start to decide, okay, I don't really like hiking. Oh, I don't like veterinarian work. I don't like to do accounting. Like my second kid, like, it's cool if she doesn't want to go to school. I don't think she should go to school. And it's okay for her not to know what she wants to do. She compares herself to her sister, who has known since she was 4 she wanted to be a vet. Now, I think that's kind of a stupid thing to be. But I'm not going to tell my daughter she can't be a vet. If that's what her life dream is, I'll pay her whatever she needs to do for veterinarian school. And the other kid, I think I'll allocate the exact same budget to her and say, do whatever you want to. If you want to go hang out for 3 years in Europe and all over the world, I think that's exactly the same. You get a tuition to. And I think my second kid will actually probably learn more by traveling the world for 2 or 3 years, right? So what is winning, right? Winning is doing what what I was put on this planet to do. That's winning, man. It's not really about the numbers.
It's not.
It's not about the numbers, okay? Now, the
It's about
numbers,
experience and
the numbers do some things, okay? They do, but like me doing this for zero right now is very important. Like, I get paid nothing. I have not made $1 from any of these webinar things I do. One, it's a way for me to give back. Two, I see the world in a tremendous need of proper, authentic, real information that doesn't have some shill behind it, some other motive. Like, I don't need anything from anybody. So I'm in a really cool position to not be a prostitute on here, not to have to take an advertiser's comments or break up a conversation we're having. Well, let's see, I trust capital is blah, 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 right? So, now the challenge that I'm going to put back on people at some point is, hey, are you going to pay me $2 or $3 a month? Or are you going to push me into the old advertising model? I got to go get promoters to tell me what to say. And then one day I'm going to say, hey, COVID-32 is bullshit. And they're not going to like it. So, like, right now, to me, we need to be speaking truth and we need to be honest and not censored. And I refuse. Okay, this is what winning is. This is the cool thing about making a shitload of money. It gets you closer to freedom than anything else.
That
Now,
is
I'm not
true.
sure what freedom is. I'm not sure I've ever experienced total freedom. But as a human spirit, I think actually that is the ultimate win, total freedom. Now, how do I define freedom? Because I don't meet anyone that knows how to define this word. This 4-letter word, or freedom, is so poorly defined. The way I
True.
define it, how do you define it, by the way? I'd like to hear you, Ultimate.
For me, freedom is a relative thing. Um, so I'm from Nepal, and I've seen girls who cannot get out of the house for until like they reach like 18 or 19. And for them, the freedom is getting out of the house. I've been to America for 7, 8 years, and over here, the freedom is a different thing. For what I believe the freedom is what we have seen around, which is a restriction. And the moment we get that freedom is what we define it. And it pushes the boundary every time we evolve.
I like that. For me, freedom is the ability to say no to anyone, dude. No, fuck
That's
off.
good.
I'm not doing that. I don't like your politics. I'm not doing business with you. I'm not supporting you. Fuck off. It also is defined as the ability to say yes to anything. Anything, dude. Yeah, I think I'll go on a $300,000 holiday for 10 days. Why not? Let's roll, man. I'd never done one of those before. And that's freedom, dude. Okay. The ability to have, I survey a lot of people, whether they know it or not. And have you had too many great experiences or adventures in your life?
Uh-huh.
I have never met a human being that told me they had too many. I have never met a human being. Here's another question for you. Have you ever paid too much for a great adventure?
No.
Dude, these are awesome questions, okay? Like, I'm not a writer, but that's a book, bro. Have you ever paid too much for a great adventure? And that's fucking $4 million. I literally don't know anyone that's ever answered this question. Yes, I paid too much for that great experience. No one. See, the operative word is great adventure experience, right? And I've never paid too much. I've had too few of those great adventures. So to me, this is winning. We have to redefine winning so many ways.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is true.
Like I would have much preferred at 20 years old to work for a guy like me than to have gone to college. That would have been a big win, dude.
True. And coming back to the same question, education plays a significant role in achieving the financial freedom, um, based on the freedom in terms of what the society defines, right? But the school does not teach any of those lessons or education related to that. What role do you think the education should play in our financial journey? And what do you think is the best way to learn?
Two very different questions, very different answers, I think. Your first question is, what role should education play in financial freedom?
Yeah.
None. Zero. They don't know anything about financial freedom. So why would we let them talk about it? If they were financially free, they would not be teachers.
Yeah.
Okay. They would actually, if they were financially free and they really wanted to teach, they would have already emailed me and said, "Hey, I love what you're doing around teaching. Let me help you, dude, because you're not a teacher."
Yeah.
For sure, dude. Okay. So,
The second question is, what do you think is the best way to learn?
from a robot, AI,
That's
bro.
understandable.
We're going to remove the human beings. The human beings are flawed. Okay. They're full of
Yeah.
errors. They're full of shame, guilt, uh, wounded souls over that deal they didn't do, that they didn't get fired for, by the way, but they never did the deal. And they know every day, they know Gary Cardone's been retired since he was 41. I've worked for Conoco for the last 50 years. I've seen billion-dollar deals, and I'm still working here, and I never did any of them.
Yeah.
Because they go to their wife and ask their wife, "Hey, honey, I'm working. What do you think?" "Don't lose your job, you idiot." Okay. You guys going to your wife talking about your business. First off, she doesn't give a fuck. Secondly, she has no knowledge or understanding of your business, very little interest, and you're literally looking for admiration from her, and she can't give it to you. No matter what she says to you, she could say, dude, you have the biggest cock on the planet. You're a great business guy, blah, blah. It's empty because you know what? You don't even respect her thoughts about business because she's not a business person. Now, if I tell you, bro, you're a fucking animal, okay, you'd be like, oh, Gary knows what an animal is, dude. He really, that goes a long way. So, look, we're trying to get educated from a lot of sources that are wrong. Okay, I do not talk to my wives or my wife or my girlfriend about business. Never. I do not ask them for permission to invest the money. They don't know anything about this. I have been doing this my whole life. It is my job to fund the family. Okay? It's my job to fix it if I fuck it up. So wives, if you want an alpha male, stop fucking with them. Okay? Stop telling them they're doing something wrong. Stop telling them throwing doubt on them, making them scared. You want a champion? You're going to have to live a champion life, dude. Exactly. That means the warrior goes away for times. Okay? He could go away for 2 months or 2 years, or maybe he's not so warm and fuzzy because he worked 18 fucking hour days. Okay. And he got Visa and MasterCard trying to rip his face off. And he can't come home and talk to you about that. What he needs is a good meal, a little love, dude, some admiration. You don't even have to give him sex usually, just some admiration, man. And by the way, don't ask this alpha dog to go build you $10 million worth and then trap him into a fucking house because your dad told you that he needed to own a house so that on Saturdays and Sundays, you guys don't even have sex on Saturdays and Sundays because you're making the guy go up on the roof and clean the leaves off of a roof, which, by the way, is not his core skill. Okay. He did not buy the house because he was good at removing leaves from a roof, dude. He bought a damn house because you and your mommy have this thing that you bought into that the white picket fence is success and winning. And it's not. It is debt. It is an anchor sitting around your neck, making you and your family stay in one location, one zip code, when the world is so transient. Okay. I figured you were in India right now. No, you're in New York. Okay, cool. Grew up in Nepal. Now you're in New York. Who knows where you'll be in 3 years? Exactly. But if an opportunity come work for me in Florida were to present itself, and you look at me and go, well, man, I own a house in New York that I overpaid for. I just can't leave, and my wife's going to be upset. You're not a winner, dude. You're a fucking loser. You're a loser because you just closed your door to like 95% of the whole world's opportunity. Dude, I got to be in New York. I own a house. Well, fuck, I own a house too, dude. I'd sell it tomorrow morning. Yep. Shit, I sold a house down the street for Bitcoin. So these are just things, man.
True. It comes back to the first question I asked you is, people find it difficult to get out of their comfort zone and they need something to push it out. And either it can be from the surrounding they are living in, or it must come from within themselves. Like, fuck everything, I gotta go, I gotta charge the thing, I gotta just put the thing to work and execute it. That is true. Coming back to the crypto, what inspired you to get into crypto?
Can I just, before we get to crypto, I have a little bit of I wouldn't say it's a pet peeve, but it's a life hack. Okay. Mm-hmm. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Yeah, you're 27. I would encourage everyone at the age of 16 to 22 years old, if you're finishing high school, if you're just looking at college, if you're leaving college, okay, first thing you do, tell your parents goodbye, leave the town, the county, and the state that you live in. Leave the town, county, state. If you have a girlfriend, tell her goodbye. If you have a boyfriend, tell him goodbye. And tell your mom and dad, don't call you every day. You're going to move on with your life and find out who you are. If you're living in your mom's home and she's making you pasta and y'all are watching CNN together, and she's giving you little rubs and hugs because you're a snowflake. You're never going to be anything other than a snowflake. You need to get away from the people that you grew up with, dude. Like the mindset alone, okay? If I would have stayed in Lake Charles, Louisiana, I would have gone to prison. I was bored, okay? I was going to create some activity, positive or negative. It does not matter. I was bored. And for high alpha players, if we're bored, dude, we are dangerous.
True.
Okay.
True.
An alpha male without purpose is dangerous. That's why we have so many people in the streets doing crazy shit, dude. They don't have a purpose. This is why I say to everyone, figure out what you're not going to do. And if working at 7-Eleven is not on your bucket list, figure out how not to work at 7-Eleven, dude. Like, you better have a skill that's beyond 7-Eleven. I mean, really?
If you don't, you got to develop it, right?
Totally. Now, I'd work at a 7-Eleven, but I'd end up owning the damn things. Dude, they'd be the best 7-Elevens. I guarantee you, dude, you walk into my 7-Eleven, it's going to be like, everything's going to be cool. I walk into some gas stations and I'm like, wow, I'm really impressed with how clean your toilet is. Seriously, okay? I go back to the same gas station every week because not that I use the damn gas station's toilet all the time. I went in there one time and went, wow, dude, I'll come back here. For sure. This lady keeps the damn toilet clean, unlike most 7-Elevens, right? Just don't do what you don't want to do, dude. Most people live their life doing shit they don't want to do.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's getting ready to get worse. So I think the best the best model for teaching is an apprentice model. It is the model that Michelangelo learned under. One of the great artists of our time, never studied a damn book. His first job was cleaning up dust for a marble maker, a medium kind of marble guy, not a great marble guy. Should read his book, by the way. If you never read the book on Michelangelo, it's called The Agony and Ecstasy. It's a beautiful book. It'll make you cry. These analogies, this Michelangelo, see, I think he was an absolute genius, this guy. But how did he get there? He learned on the job. And he learned from a master. And he learned how to do what? How to sweep dust up. Now, that sounds below anyone's pay grade at 27. If I said to you, hey, man, I just clipped my bougainvilleas, go clean it up, you'd be like, huh? Talking about it. If you're going to work with marble, the first thing you have to do is get rid of the dust. Like, you're not going to make anything proper if there's dust everywhere, right? So that's one little message of, we got to have people show up at 8 o'clock in the morning every day. From 16 to 32 in Italy, I think the unemployment rate's like 47%. Okay, in that age bracket, dude, there's a whole decade of kids that are never going to go to work. They don't even know how to show up. Like, it's not about cleaning anything. It's about they don't know how to show up to work and stay there all day till 5.
True.
This problem is getting ready to be solved. School is getting ready to be solved, and it's going to be solved with AI. And you and I are going to be able to hire our children private teachers. And I'll take a little bit of Chopin, a little bit of Michelangelo. I'll take a little bit of Einstein. Give me a little bit of Elon Musk, and throw in some Gary Cardone shit for me, please.
Yes,
okay?
Sir.
And we're going to make this is going to be the great education. The AI will immediately realize what this person doesn't want to do, I don't need to learn about accounting, dude. I need to learn how to read a spreadsheet and a P&L.
True.
Okay. What I don't need to do is go debits and liabilities. And by the way, if you move liabilities over here under this tax code, it becomes an asset. There is no learning any of that because it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
It's about using the tool that you already have.
Yeah, I believe I was given some gifts when I showed up here. See, I actually believe in multiple lives. So if energy can't be destroyed, then what am I? If I'm energy, then I'm not getting destroyed, okay? There's something here. I don't know what it's going to morph into, but for sure, I have done some things on this planet, in this lifetime, in this body, that I did not have the academia for. Like I did not have the. Gary studied this for 32 years, and that's what allows him to do this. It was something else, man, something that I've learned to actually tap into. If you can, and I think this is why I'm so focused on figure out what you don't want to do, because then it clears me up to accept, hey, maybe there's some other areas, right? Like then it allowed me to, like, I've never done any big deals unless I have this particular feeling that occurs right here. Right? This is literally the part of my body it happens in. And if it doesn't go off, I just don't care how big the deal is. I'm like, there's something wrong with this deal. And 3 or 4 years later, boom, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't do that deal. Yeah. It had hair on it.
I mean, you got to listen to what your mind and heart says too.
It's hugely important. It's hugely important. That's why if you know what you don't want to do, I mean, somebody offers you to make $3 million tomorrow. You're like, oh, shit. Okay. Well, you got to be a prostitute 365 days a year. Oh, shit. Well, you laugh, but dude, I know a lot of people go to work their whole life and they are still doing what they don't like to do. And the problem is the longer you do it, the longer it takes for you to unwind it.
That is true.
And that's not freedom. See, if you look at my discussion point, like it's very, very consistent. People have a real hard time with me because I'm so consistent. Oh, freedom. Do what you want to do. Do not do what you don't want to do. And you must know what you don't like doing. Like it's very important. I don't like fat women. I'm not going to ever marry a fat girl. It's just not going to happen for me. Okay. I don't need to analyze why. Dude, it's just not my flavor, okay? I don't psychologically analyze why I like cherries or watermelon. Dude, I dig watermelon, bro. I don't like cantaloupe as much. I'm not a racist because I don't like cantaloupe. It's just, no, dude, I like watermelon better. Will I eat cantaloupe? Sure. If I don't have any watermelon, I'll eat cantaloupe. But by the way, just because I like these things does not make me a farmer. I mean, I can like something and not want to grow it. You see what I'm saying, man? It just like I see people going, well, gosh, man, I need to own a home. Really? Well, when you went to New York, why didn't you buy the whole hotel? Well, Gary, that's ridiculous. Well, what do you mean it's ridiculous? You're asking me if I own my home or rent my home. Why does it matter? It's a bed.
Yeah.
Well, why do the Indians, like there's a lot of races. We must own our home. Well, really? Who told you that? And why? Because like I do not buy hotels just because every now and then I need to sleep in New York. Right? I don't need to own a home. I'm not a home builder. Okay, I need a place to put my head. Are you going to shame me because I rent an airplane? I rent a seat on an airplane. I did 700 hours once. Should I buy an airplane?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I should. Maybe that's a good, but you see what I'm saying? I have no idea what I'm doing in that field. I have no passion around that field. The people who are the richest in life, they're not doing it for money, man. They're doing it because they found their game. Yeah. And if you find your game, like money follows me like a little butterfly. It's unbelievable.
It does. You don't have to chase that money. That's true.
Never.
That's true.
Never.
And that's the thing. Like when I came, I mean, I'm actually from Nepal, not from India. When I came from Nepal,
sorry, man.
When I came from Nepal in 2016, I had to unlearn a lot of things that I already had a conviction to. Like you said, like owning a home. Like why would I need to own a home? And that was my mentality, my mindset. That was the thing that was taught, and that's what I saw, right? And as you grow older, it is very important to unlearn things that you learned before as well. And I would say I used to listen to a lot of Grant's podcasts and read a lot of books, and that inspired me to kind of unlearn what actually the true wealth is, what is being, like you said, the freedom is, and what to do to get there, right? And a lot of people just get stuck with what they were taught when they were kid, what they saw when they were kid, and it just the things doesn't change. Yeah, that's true. Um, awesome. Thanks for expanding on onto your the circle of journey. I would say the circle of life, circle of journey. It starts with not knowing what to, knowing what not to do, and knowing what to do, and that comes with the freedom, and it circles back to everything. Now, if we may, can we move on to the crypto side of it?
I
What
hate
is
talking about Bitcoin. So, sure.
what inspired you to get into the crypto?
Well, I would like to differentiate between crypto and Bitcoin. I think that they're very, 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 very different products and very different asset classes. I think Bitcoin is its own asset class. There's only one Bitcoin. There's never going to, I mean, there may be another type Bitcoin, but at least for today, Bitcoin is its own little asset and its own asset class that is different than all the assets in so many ways. The crypto world, what I call the digital asset industry, I'm not trying to poo-poo on that industry. I just think there are going to be a lot of businesses built around the digital asset industry, around money, finance, tokenization, maybe real estate in 5 to 10 years, equities, bonds. But that is not Bitcoin. And this is a confusing piece for the industry and for investors to understand. I think there's some 22,000 tokens or something right now. These are nothing but made up constructs. It's very hard to understand what the economics are. But Bitcoin is like, to me, if you just look at Bitcoin, it's its own thing, and just remove blockchain, move Ethereum and CBDCs and this whole discussion. This is a 21 million units, 19.6 are issued. You've never seen anything issued like this in your life, where the volume was issued up front, not like it is here in US dollars, which they keep printing every year. Until you can take somebody through that, they need about 25 hours just on this subject, just to go, got it. Wow, that's the difference. So what really got me into crypto is, over my career, I have been very, very smart at somewhere between 10 and 22 years, literally walking away from the industry. I've done this now 4 times. At 41 years old, I called my bosses up. I sold every drop of stock I owned on one afternoon. Never sold any before in my whole life. My boss told me we were going to make $1 billion in cash the following year. And I was like, no chance, dude. It won't happen. Not possible. I got it. That's your PR to Wall Street, but it's like, we are going to fail. Based on some real fundamental things. This is your point. Hey, unlearning. I would actually go harsher than that. I think at some point you got to almost get a little angry. It's not about unlearning. It's about realizing you were taught some really weird shit. Okay. Like bad, wrong, incorrect. This is why the education system's so broken. And I'll say, hey, it's going to go to robots, because you can't fix this now. All these teachers need to admit that they don't know. And they're not going to. Okay. It's just their egos are too big. You're never going to get everybody to go, we've been selling the Big Bang. Here's one. We've been selling the Big Bang for 40 years. We know the Big Bang for sure did not happen exactly the way we think it did, but we're going to still pitch it. By the way, we cannot define gravity properly, but we're going to keep pitching that we do know about gravity. Also, this thing about if you can't feel it, measure it, it's not real. Really, what's dark matter? Because there isn't one fucking person that's been able to measure dark matter, but we know it's there. So then you come to God, you come to aliens, and like, bruh, there's so much shit we don't know. My dogs have better senses than you do. They know when I'm coming home. Okay, there's shit going on with my animals. They're like, whoa, dude, they know so much. The Bitcoin thing for me was an absolute easy mutation from energy, big corporates going through reformation and restructuring, watching governments change the rules, learning about geopolitics and globalization, which, by the way, is not happening now. We spent 20 years, dude, pumping globalization. Most of your entire life we have pitched this idea of globalization. And 2 years ago, the whole thing fucking unwound. Okay, globalization is about NATO and the EU, and it's about the petrodollar and this whole construct that's been put together, and it's all falling apart. Every 20th century construct, and by construct, what do I mean for your audience? I mean everything that you and I do is basically a human agreement. These are constructs. They're made up by you and I. We can change the rules anytime we want. I love Indians now. Okay, cool. Dude, we just go through these cycles where everything just changes over time. So I think Bitcoin to me was like, one, I'd been in the payments industry for 12 years and I was seeing all these problems in payments. 13% declines on every credit card in the United States. What the heck? 13% declines. That is a number that is almost impossible to find. It's so embarrassing to Visa and MasterCard. You have 656 million chargeback cases in the United States. I thought this was a no fraud market. I thought you guys did AML, KYC, and all these rules all across Europe and America to protect the consumer. Yet you've gone from 50 million dispute cases to 656 million in less than 10 years. Your fraud problem, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, has exceeded the CAGR of the internet. Like, how do you explain that shit? You know the way I explain it? You guys are making money from this fraud problem.
Yeah.
It ain't fraud, dude. If it was fraud, Visa, MasterCard would be trading for $2. Okay. But instead they make 51% gross operating margin. This is a 50-year-old company, dude, making a 51% gross operating margin. MasterCard makes a 46% gross operating margin. They're 50 years old. By the way, the two of them control 72% of all the plastic in Europe and America. A total duopoly, overcharging for everything. If ExxonMobil was making 51% gross operating margin, there'd be people rioting in the streets in New York right now. Okay, rioting, asking for the CEO's dismissal at ExxonMobil. And what's more important, a plastic card with an RFID locator in it, tracking everything you do, or gasoline? Visa, MasterCard trade at 35 times, and poor old ExxonMobil trading at 10 or 11. So crypto for me, or Bitcoin, to me, I believe we are digitizing planet Earth. And by digitizing planet Earth, everything we do, this economy that we own things, one, that's a lie. We own nothing. When you have to pay taxes on property to retain it, you don't own it. Now, you may own an obligation to take care of it, pay taxes, and then pay the debt on it. But it's
the government being the biggest mafia.
Yeah, well, and that's what they've turned out. Like, most of the 3-letter agencies now are basically enforcement authorities for the U.S. government to collect. And as they go more and more broke, and their morals and ethics decay further and further because of all the pencil whipping they've been doing over the years. Nobody commits one grand crime. They committed a little error. They commit a crime to solve that error, and then that worked. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. I mean, just read the Enron story, read the General Electric story, right? Like, these companies go bad because they fixed a problem 20 years ago with a little pencil rub, and now the pencil rub has 7 zeros behind it. True. So for me, Bitcoin was one. I was bored doing what I was doing. I knew I ain't doing this credit card shit anymore. Dude, I hate it. I really just did not like the business. Intellectually, it was not stimulating for me. If a business is not intellectually stimulating, I don't care how much money is. I just do not care. I would rather make less money and be really really engaged in the game.
That's the freedom too.
Yeah. Like, the whole thing is about me being free, dude. Like, I'm not going to work. If it doesn't mark the freedom thing, I'm out. 2016, I looked at Bitcoin, didn't like all the noise around Roger Ver and Bitcoin Cash. 2018, I bought some. I bought about 10 times as much gold. Bought gold at 1150. I think I bought Bitcoin at 8,000. Didn't buy a lot. 2020 comes around. I realize my business is pretty done in the credit card industry. My marriage is falling apart because we wrapped up the credit card business with sex and marriage and kids, all without a plan, except we're going to have a business. Wanted to get out of it. I wanted to sell my interest in the company. My partner kept saying, really, $500 million is really not enough for me. I'm not done yet. I'm like, well, I'm done, dude. Give me 250. I'll see you later. And because I know that you need to be able to cycle through these industries. They don't last forever. And the more I studied Bitcoin, once I went beyond 25 hours, I was cooked. 25 hours for me, I say to anyone, you spend 25 hours with the data I give you. If you don't invest in Bitcoin after the 25 hours of study and research that I'll give you a Bitcoin and you can sell it for cash. Now, I've never had anybody do this, dude. If you spend 25 hours, you will spend 26. And then you'll spend 27 because it becomes very, very, you start to realize, shit, dude, this is a hedge. This is the greatest hedge ever. Okay. This is not only a hedge against, so this is the way I think about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a hedge against the American market being stupid, doing stupid shit, being broke and continuing to be broke. Okay. I'm a heroin addict and I'm going to keep shooting heroin. Okay. I'm just going to keep shooting. This is what the Fed will have to do. They will have to print money. They will have to reduce rates.
And that's the thing, like you said, it is a hedge against the American economy. In 2017, I was onboarding a lot of people into the crypto space, right? And a lot of people kind of, I tried to explain what it is, what was the motivation behind creating it. And a lot of people said, okay, do you think the government will allow it if it is like the hedge against the US government? I mean, they are powerful. Do you think, they won't ban it? I mean, that was the valid question back then, but the community is stronger than that, and nothing can stop it.
Yeah. Look, in 16, 17, and 18, this was not as clear. First off, people give the government way too much credit. Way too much credit. This change is so substantial that the more I studied it, the more I realized, I guess he can't even participate here. They're going to pretend to participate. This is one of the reasons I like the crypto. Okay, the token market. The best benefit to the token market for me is that, one, I have a company called Node 40, and I'm going to be able to do all their accounting, audits, and all that stuff on all those tokens too. And this is my point on we're digitizing planet Earth. Okay, everything is going to be digitized. Everything you and I do, there's going to be an ROI on this event. We're going to know exactly what it cost us for this hour and 30 minutes. Down fractions. Okay, we're not going to own cars. We're going to rent cars as they are utilized. There's going to be centralized nodes of all types of different activities. Centralization is actually very, very efficient as long as the core benefactor of that centralization doesn't start distorting the rules. If you and I enjoy Jesus Christ exactly the same, or God, or whatever you believe in, and he's running the centralized authority, dude, we're cool. There's no problem with centralization. Yeah. It's when it becomes criminalized and Visa, MasterCard start picking winners and losers, or the FTC or the SEC or these enforcement authorities. The crypto world, I think it's validating that Ethereum, Solana, and some others, what BlackRock's doing is they understand, hey, look, equities, bonds, interest, everything gets tokenized. Real estate will be the last thing because it's not fungible, but anything that's fungible, dude, currencies, this should all be token, okay? On a blockchain, public or private, doesn't matter. This is going to be efficient. There's $7 trillion in fees that U.S. consumers pay every year just from really weird fees. That all goes away, man. Become hyper efficient. The legacy guys are going to fight this tooth and nail. They will buy companies. Watch, Visa, MasterCard will buy companies. They've invested in Circle. They're going to steal ideas from all these companies. They don't care, but they will not be able to adopt. And what they're going to do, because there's 22,000 different tokens, They're going to waste tons of time talking to Ethereum, then bouncing over to Solana and then doing it. They're going to waste so much time, dude, because the business, they do not know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They never have known what they're doing. And the only place these monopolies, duopolies, and oligopolies make money is in their own markets, dude. They cannot operate outside their own markets. They're incapacitated. They're weak. They're fucking bullies. And they're going to get run over by this technology chain. Doesn't mean all of them are going to get run over. But IBM needs to make a move, dude, right now. Okay, if I'm IBM, I start putting Bitcoin on my balance sheet because I don't have any other stories to tell. Okay, there's companies out there that like they got bags of cash, but like, bro, you have bags of no future. You don't have a plan for the future. You're bloated with people. You don't need this many people. Never did, by the way. Just because you could doesn't mean you should, right? We'll see. I mean, I'm very excited about the change that AI and crypto are bringing to the digital, digital currency, crypto, Bitcoin, whatever, because it's happening all at one time.
Yeah.
And for it to happen all at one time, it's more likely that I'm going to have a robot by the end of the year working for me, and you're going to have a robot, and they're going to be setting up these meetings, and we're going to be sending little pennies to each other. Like somebody just sent me a super chat for $200. YouTube, Google took 30% of it. They send me $200 and Google takes $60, dude. That's going to end. Like I'm going to probably file an antitrust lawsuit against Google, knowing that I'm going to get banned. But like, this is not cool. Imagine if you tried to get on a highway to get to JFK and was like, hey, bro, I need $30 this morning. And by the way, this is just going to the cops. $30 for your car to get on the road. That's bullshit, okay? That is ridiculous, okay? That is just that Google at this point is a utility for humanity. You can't just grab 30%. Imagine if Visa and MasterCard were charging you 30% on a bag of potato chips. Okay, so here's Visa and MasterCard. They're getting in trouble with the DOJ and the SEC and the FTC for 300 basis points, 3%. Okay, and that's probably a bad merchant, 3%. And Google's charging, you send me $200 because I did a good job, and they fucking grab 30. It's ridiculous. No, $60. They grab $60 on the 200. So I don't think that behavior is going to continue. I think you're going to see, hopefully, you're going to see either competition pop up, which is near impossible against a Google. I had somebody at some kind of antitrust lawyer the other night on Spaces go, hey, just go compete with them. I'm like, you're an idiot, dude. That's like saying I'm going to go and build TikTok in China.
No,
Okay, these are clubs now. Like, I don't believe in banning TikTok. You do not ban TikTok and not ban all of them. Like, we need a common set of rules. See, the whole thing needs to be rewritten, dude. You need a new set of rules for the internet. You need a new set of rules for the digital world, because these businesses, this industry is literally, all the regulators are trying to wrap the rules from the 20th century around the 21st century, and they don't fit.
It doesn't.
Okay, they don't fit. We will not need stop signs one day.
Yeah.
We're not going to need stop lights one day because we're going to have robots driving this. The amount of money we're going to save from the inefficiencies of an analog system. I have 40,000 freaking songs on this thing, dude. Okay, I don't think this is going to be around 2 years. Okay, it's heavy. Notice how heavy it is, right? So the more songs I put on here, the heavier it gets, evidently. But this is going away. Look at what we're doing right here, bro. You don't think this is fucking some people up?
Exactly. And this is where it comes to back the thing you said about the edge. We are reaching the edge of the current system. Either we need to escape out of it, which is, like you said, it is. It could be the combination of crypto and the AI, or we need some kind of huge competitor who's going to put in the amount of money that Google is putting in, and just get rid of the monopoly, which is only the Twitter is doing it at this moment, and he's getting a lot of backslashes too. Yeah, let's do. The final question I would like to ask you: what do you think it takes to be the ultimate bull?
The ultimate bull, to be the ultimate bull, takes ultimate conviction.
That's a good answer. There we
That
go.
is absolutely the only, and it's the only right answer. The more conviction you have, if you're not pulling the trigger, you need to go meet a psychologist or meet a guy like me and go, hey, why am I not pulling the trigger?
Mhm.
People ask me, hey, dude, how you're more convicted than I am. I've been around since 2011. I'm the most bullish guy on Bitcoin I know. Maybe Sailor's a bit more bullish than me, but I mean, if you only had one trade, the thing I like about it so much, dude, is that anyone can do this trade.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like buying a franchise into Popeyes for 70 grand, but there's no human error risk. And by the way, there's no environmental protection agency. There's no cop that needs to come around and fix the broken window that the 2 a.m. customer broke for their $12 purchase of popcorn, whatever they bought. Nobody gets sick. There's no insurance. There's no 70 grand. Dude. You have 52 million people promoting it. You have BlackRock getting ready to rock. You have every wealthy player on the planet coming. If you found a diamond mine in Nepal, 8 acres of pure diamonds, 8 acres deep, 8 acres wide, how long would you own that property, bro? Okay.
Forever.
No, you wouldn't. Government come and take it away from you. They rip your whole family into shreds and they own it. That's exactly what would happen. Okay. That's what's been happening for centuries. Diamond mines, gold mines, oil wells, oil fields, agriculture, farmland, rancher. This has been going on forever, dude. So
That's true.
kings don't let people like you and me get rich when we find something. Right here, Bitcoin is sitting here. It is the greatest diamond mine in the history of mankind. And
That's
it's
awesome.
available for all of humanity. And
Yeah.
it's $70,000. Okay. The average home here is $337,000. What would the price be if you couldn't borrow 70% of that?
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Guess what? I think it would be 1/4 of the price. 330 goes to 150, 75 to 80 grand. That $330,000 house. Wow, isn't that interesting, dude? We have Bitcoin at $70,000.
exactly.
What happens the day I'm able to borrow against Bitcoin?
It is coming.
If I could
I
get
think
50 cents on the dollar, dude, much less 70 or 80, Bitcoin should be priced at about what the house is priced at, $337,000. If we treat both of these identical, house, I get 70% loan to value on. It's 6 or 7%, but I have to take care of it. I have to pay taxes. I got to keep it clean. I got to pay the mortgage. 20 years, I've got to replace most everything. I live in the on the Gulf of Mexico, so my 20 years becomes 8. I got Bitcoin here. Doesn't matter how much salt I have. It doesn't matter where I live. It doesn't matter if I have 8 billion units or 8. The carry cost is exactly the same. I have no maintenance, no insurance. I don't have to clean anything. I don't need a yard man. And I'm not trapped in a location. I can literally go, hey, I want to go to Singapore tomorrow morning. Let's roll, dude. My $8 million comes into Singapore with me in my suitcase.
Yep.
This
Yeah.
is unbelievable. We have this opportunity, and no government can come in and grab my shit and go, hey, we own this diamond mine now.
No.
We own all this land. We are taking it away because this is what's best for the United States or whatever country you're living in. I don't know how else to sell this, dude. Like, it's 21 million units. Ain't going to be 22. You can't accelerate it no matter what the price is. If crude oil goes to $300 tomorrow morning, you will have so much crude oil. I'll deliver crude oil to Nepal, dude, in my car at $300. Okay. So
Yeah.
seriously, I mean,
Yeah.
see, like, and if you think about everything, Range Rovers go up $50,000. How many Range Rovers are going to hit the market? How many Rolex watches are going to be made if the price goes up? How much natural gas is produced if it's $5 instead of $2.50? But with Bitcoin, it's 60 grand, dude. Either mine one today, either mine 450 or don't.
Yeah. That is.
And you can't mine more. And that is a big, 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 big deal. But most people don't understand the way real markets work. So it's a real big deal when you can't produce more. The gold market, like, hey, take gold of $3,000, $4,000, dude. There's going to be more gold on the market. So we have one finite resource. Oh, the world has never ever seen finite. The only finite they've ever seen, they disregard and treat like shit. And it's you and me. You and I are the only true finite things on planet Earth that aren't replicated. They're not replaced. I mean, I could say plants and organisms and animals are the same. What do? We kill them.
Yeah.
So we kill them. We go to war. So I am so certain that you want to talk about conviction? If mankind treats each other like shit, when you're probably a genius artist in some level, if I spend enough time with you, I know there's a genius in there somewhere. So your challenge is to find it. If I can't do that, and humanity hasn't been able to do that for most of its existence, I am quite certain that Bitcoin is mispriced.
Yep, that is true. It is.
It's got to be grossly mispriced because we've never valued each other. See, Bitcoin for me, and I'll end here, and you can take this however you want. Bitcoin is actually teaching me about value, differentiating value and price. They're not the same. Okay, this is why I asked you the question. You ever spent too much on an adventure?
Yeah.
People would make judgments to me. They go, bro, you really spent $1 million on that? Yeah, dude, it was fucking awesome.
Right.
Okay, why would they question? No, it was an awesome experience, dude. I have a memory. A lady asked me yesterday, she's like, hey, you're dying tomorrow. You have one request. You get to find anything you've ever lost. What would it be? Over your whole life? You know, my answer was all my memories and all the photos I've lost, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I want every photo, good or bad, in focus, out of focus, and I want every experience I've ever, as vivid as you possibly can bring to me. That's what I want. Yeah. And so when you start thinking about life that way, this is going to be a great adventure. I'm going to end up really rich, dude. But the truth is, what I'm going to be known for is, whoa, the guy went all in on the trade, dude. He was really convicted, right? And that's cool. That's an adventure, right? Maybe I go broke.
And that is the ultimate goal too, right there.
Exactly. So we're going to see. I have to stay in the trade for 4 or 5 years to figure out if I'm right or not. And that's the other thing. Like, to do this for a living, you have to be willing to delay the gratification.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a bull and a player, like, delaying gratification is very important because I don't get squeezed out.
That's true. With a lot of digital thing, the social media, that's thing being the attention for instant gratification is what we've been trained for. Since the kids are getting trained for like that too. Like, that got to change.
For sure. Yeah. It's sad, actually.
Gary, for your time and effort, we will ship this out to you.
Thank you, man.
And this was made in Nepal, handmade. The paper is handmade and everything. I will reach out to you for the address to send it.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.